Previously on this What If, Goku and Future Gohan emerged from the time chamber. Their Super Saiyan powers pushed to the absolute limit for the upcoming battle. Now, Goku journeys to New Namek to resurrect Piccolo, Krillin, and Vegeta. But Vegeta's explosive pride instantly threatens to tear the fragile resistance apart. With the ruthless androids tracking Goku's history directly to his family's home at Mount Paozu, the ultimate collision course is set. The fight for survival continues, now. Goku stood near the edge of Kami's lookout, observing from above. Future Earth curved beneath the cloud layer, scarred by dark regions where cities had stopped producing light. Gohan and Trunks prepared the room of spirit and time behind him. Bulma continued refining Gero's shutdown data. Before either plan could advance, Goku raised his thoughts toward the small planet at the end of Snake Way and called the teacher who had once guided him across the galaxy.
King Kai, can you hear me?
King Kai answered after several attempts. His voice entered Goku's mind beside the hiss of distant cosmic signals.
Goku? How did you leave the afterlife?
Goku looked down at his solid hands. The king had mistaken him for the Goku who died from heart disease in this timeline. Goku explained Bulma's temporal probe, the extraction from age 764, and the 16-year displacement. King Kai searched the spiritual record again. The deceased future Goku still possessed an individual existence within this branch, though temporal separation had placed his soul beyond King Kai's immediate jurisdiction. No path opened between the two versions of Goku. Goku asked for New Namek. Earth's Dragon Balls had vanished when Piccolo died, and Kami fell with him. The Namekians had escaped Frieza years earlier and rebuilt their civilization on another world. Yet Goku had never learned the planet's coordinates. King Kai extended his awareness across the northern galaxy. Several minutes passed before he located a distant cluster of Namekian energy. Goku pressed 2 fingers to his forehead and searched along the direction King Kai provided. Hundreds of calm signatures gathered around lakes, fields, and a central village. He locked onto them and disappeared from the lookout. Goku materialized beneath a pale green sky. New Namek's villages followed the rounded architecture of the old world, surrounded by cultivated land and broad blue water. Namekian farmers stopped working when a human-sized figure appeared among them. Several warriors moved between Goku and the village children. Dende emerged from the central building beside Grand Elder Moori. He recognized Goku's face and orange gi immediately, though age and distance had changed the young Namekian healer into an adult leader. Dende said that Son Goku had died on Earth years ago.
One version of me did. This is going to take a little explaining.
King Kai connected New Namek to the lookout through a shared telepathic channel. Bulma, Gohan, and Trunks heard Goku recount the temporal accident, while Moori questioned the condition of Earth. Gohan described Piccolo's death and the loss of Kami. Bulma explained that restoring Piccolo would return Earth's guardian and reactivate its Dragon Balls. The Namekians owed Goku gratitude for their survival, yet Goku never presented the wishes as a debt. He asked for help on behalf of a world still being hunted. Moori consulted the elders. 13 years had passed since the android attack, and the dead being considered had already spent longer outside life than most resurrection attempts. Porunga remained capable of returning an individual whose soul and identity endured. The dragon's present power allowed 3 separate individual resurrections. Each wish required a named target. A single command could not restore every person killed by the androids. The survivors on the lookout would have to decide which 3 lives returned first. The Namekians gathered their Dragon Balls in the central field. Each sphere dwarfed the Earth versions Bulma remembered. Dende stood before them and spoke the Namekian invocation. The sky turned black. Lightning crossed the clouds while Porunga rose above the village, his massive arms folded over a scaled chest. The dragon's red eyes opened, and his voice shook the fields. 3 wishes waited before Goku. Every name left unspoken would remain among the dead. Piccolo required the first wish. His return offered a fighter, strategist, Namekian healer, and direct connection to Earth's guardian. Gohan gave the name through King Kai's link. Dende translated the wish. Porunga's eyes burned red, and energy crossed the galaxy toward Earth. On Kami's lookout, green light formed near the palace entrance. Piccolo's body reappeared in the white cape and turban he wore during the android battle. At the same instant, Kami returned beside Mr. Popo. Piccolo's boots touched the lookout tiles. His last memory contained Android 17's attack, Gohan's younger face, and the knowledge that Kami would die with him. He turned toward the palace and saw the restored guardian standing with one hand on Mr. Popo's shoulder. Then he found Gohan. The boy he had trained now stood as a one-armed adult with scars across his face and Super Saiyan strength held beneath a patched gi.
Gohan.
Gohan crossed the tiles and stopped directly in front of him. His right hand caught Piccolo's forearm. Piccolo returned the grip. Earth's Dragon Balls reappeared across the planet. Their stone shells regained color, while dormant magic spread between them and the lookout. Bulma confirmed the restoration through old Capsule Corp detectors. Piccolo examined the ruined cities below, the controller designs, and the command structure formed during his absence. He never demanded leadership. Gohan, Bulma, and Trunks had carried the resistance through 13 years without him. Piccolo asked for their current plan before offering a single order. Goku teleported back from New Namek and found Piccolo studying Gohan's missing shoulder. Porunga still waited beneath New Namek's darkened sky through King Kai's link. Piccolo asked whether the dragon could restore the arm. Dende confirmed that Porunga could attempt the repair as part of an individual wish. Gohan declined before Goku answered. Replacing the limb would alter his balance, reflexes, and every technique built through years of adaptation. 3 wishes also meant 3 lives. He refused to use another during the active android crisis. Piccolo placed 2 fingers near the pinned sleeve without touching it.
A new arm would need training. We need your current body ready.
Gohan nodded. He had once treated the missing limb as proof of failure. Now it formed part of a stable body he understood. Restoration could wait until the war ended, when the decision belonged to his future rather than the next battle. Goku accepted the answer and returned his attention to Porunga's remaining wishes. The second name divided the lookout. Piccolo recommended a fighter capable of reaching Super Saiyan strength with chamber training. Bulma and Trunks chose Vegeta. Bulma admitted the tactical value and the personal reason without separating them. Trunks had grown up beneath his father's photograph and deserved the opportunity to meet the man. The Namekian elders remembered Vegeta's role in the invasion of their original world. Several refused immediately. Goku stood before Moori beneath Porunga's shadow. He acknowledged Vegeta's crimes, his pride, and the danger created by returning him without 13 years of growth. Piccolo joined the telepathic channel from Earth and accepted responsibility for helping contain him. Gohan added one condition: resurrection would not place Vegeta above the Resistance's field authority. Moori listened to every term before allowing Dende to ask Porunga whether Vegeta remained recoverable. The dragon confirmed that his soul could still be returned. Dende spoke the second wish. Far from the lookout, a golden column struck the broken plane where Vegeta had died during the android assault. His body reformed inside damaged Saiyan armor. Breath entered his lungs with a violent gasp. He rose expecting Android 18 to finish the attack. The battlefield had become an overgrown wasteland, scattered with rusted vehicles and eroded craters. Goku detected his energy from the lookout and vanished before Vegeta could leave. When Goku appeared, Vegeta remembered from their battles on Earth and Namek. 13 years had changed the land while leaving Goku physically close to the age of his own death. Vegeta raised both fists.
Kakarot.
I'll explain on the lookout.
Vegeta fired a blast past Goku's shoulder. Goku redirected it into the empty sky and caught Vegeta's wrist before a second attack formed. The difference in strength became clear through that single grip. Instant transmission brought them to the lookout. Vegeta tore free from Goku's hand and found Piccolo alive near the palace. Adult Gohan stood beside him with one arm, and enough controlled power to exceed Vegeta's remembered level. Bulma waited at the command table, 13 years older than the woman he had left. Trunks stood beside her in a Capsule Corp jacket with a sword across his back. The teenager's lavender hair and Saiyan energy completed the answer before anyone introduced him. Trunks approached first. Vegeta's attention moved across the young man's face, shoulders, sword, and Capsule Corp insignia. Bulma folded her arms against the front of her work clothes.
This is Trunks, your son.
Vegeta's gaze remained on the teenager. Trunks had imagined anger, dismissal, or indifference. Vegeta reached toward his shoulder, stopped before contact, and asked one question.
Can you become a Super Saiyan?
Trunks answered by raising a controlled golden aura for several seconds. Pride lifted Vegeta's posture. Humiliation followed when he sensed Gohan and Goku more carefully. Trunks also carried power beyond the level Vegeta had possessed when he died. He had returned as the age 767 warrior who failed against the androids, while everyone around him had lived, trained, and suffered for 13 additional years.
How long was I dead?
Long enough for your son to grow up without you.
Bulma gave him no softened version of the answer. Vegeta rejected Gohan's authority before hearing the full plan.
Field operations end when I call an abort.
I take orders from no child,
Gohan stepped closer, his right arm loose at his side.
and certainly none from Kakarot's damaged offspring.
Piccolo moved between their attack lines. Bulma remained at the table.
Then you stay on the lookout. Resurrection gave you a body. It didn't give you command.
The third wish remained. Goku chose Krillin. Piccolo supported the selection before Vegeta could propose a Saiyan. Krillin offered precision attacks, solar flare, tactical discipline, and a history of following retreat orders when stronger fighters refused. In this future, he had died years before meeting Android 18 outside a battlefield. No romantic attachment complicated the mission. His value came from trust earned across decades of battles. Dende spoke the final wish. Krillin returned near the ruins of the city where the androids killed him. His body reformed in his old turtle school uniform, and he dropped onto one knee beneath cold daylight. The city around him had lost half its skyline. Vines covered abandoned roads. Goku teleported to his energy and found Krillin staring at a weathered memorial wall bearing thousands of names. Krillin said his name in disbelief.
Yeah, we've got a lot to catch up on.
Krillin arrived on the lookout and crossed the distance to Goku at a run. He struck Goku's chest once, then pulled him into a brief embrace. Piccolo received a stunned laugh and a grip around the forearm. Krillin's reaction to Gohan lasted longer. He traced the adult scars with his gaze, stopped at the missing left arm, and lowered his hand before offering help Gohan had never requested. Gohan placed his right palm on Krillin's shoulder.
I'm glad you're here.
Porunga disappeared above New Namek, and daylight returned to its fields. 3 warriors had come back. Countless civilians and fighters remained dead. Goku thanked Moori, Dende, and the gathered Namekians before returning to Earth. The Dragon Balls scattered across New Namek and turned to stone for their recovery period. Earth now possessed its own restored set, though Bulma had already begun questioning who should control wishes in a world with so many unresolved deaths. Resurrection transformed the lookout into a command dispute within an hour. Piccolo and Krillin reviewed the containment doctrine and accepted Gohan's abort authority. Vegeta demanded an immediate attack before the androids discovered the restored fighters. He had no calm Super Saiyan mastery, no knowledge of their evolved habits, and no interest in preserving them after shutdown. Gohan removed Vegeta's name from every active assignment.
Anyone who ignores the withdrawal signal stays here.
Vegeta stepped toward Gohan. The pressure of his power cracked one tile beneath his boot. Trunks moved between them before Bulma could call Piccolo. He faced his father without drawing the sword.
If you attack now, they'll use you to find us.
Vegeta looked down at the son he had known for minutes. Bulma pointed toward the cities below.
Your pride already left him fatherless once.
Vegeta's aura receded. He agreed to wait, though the containment doctrine remained absent from his promise. Gohan and Trunks prepared for the next chamber session. Mr. Popo replenished the living quarter food and replaced training equipment damaged during the previous year. Goku reviewed the chamber's environmental hazards with Trunks. Piccolo examined Gohan's patched gi and added stronger stitching around the missing shoulder. Vegeta remained near the palace wall, watching his son organize supplies with Bulma's efficiency and a swordsman's discipline. Before entering, Trunks approached Vegeta.
What should I focus on?
Vegeta examined Gohan, then returned his attention to Trunks.
Do not come out weaker than him.
Trunks waited for a technical answer, a stance correction, or any sign that Vegeta understood his current abilities. None followed. Vegeta's instruction contained recognition and competition in equal measure. Trunks tightened the strap across his sword and walked toward the chamber door. Gohan joined him at the entrance.
We build your speed, control, and survival first.
Vegeta gave a quiet sound of disapproval from across the hall. Gohan continued without turning.
The controller mission requires you alive at close range.
Trunks placed one hand on the chamber door. The white interior opened before them. One outside day began while Gohan and Trunks stepped into a year that would decide whether their bond survived Goku's arrival. 10 times gravity pulled Trunks toward the chamber floor. He adapted faster than Gohan had during the previous year, using 2 arms and a balanced stance to distribute the pressure. His first training request concerned strength. Gohan assigned breathing control and transformation endurance. Trunks remained Super Saiyan through meals, cleaning, and equipment repairs. The aura broke plates and scorched bedding during the first weeks. Gohan made him replace everything with materials from the storage room. Trunks drove himself harder whenever Gohan mentioned Goku's lessons. He repeated movement drills after rest periods, concealed bruises beneath his jacket, and increased gravity resistance through weighted clothing. During sparring, he accepted direct strikes to create openings copied from Gohan's old style. Gohan recognized the pattern after Trunks allowed a blow against his ribs and answered with a sword strike toward the neck. The wooden training blade stopped against Gohan's right palm.
You're copying my worst habits.
Trunks pulled the weapon free.
They kept you alive.
They cost me an arm.
Trunks attacked again. Gohan redirected the blade and swept his legs. Trunks hit the floor, rolled, and returned to his feet before the gravity pinned him. His next sequence carried more force and less control. Gohan ended the match with a strike against his chest that shut down the golden aura. Trunks remained on the floor while Gohan collected the wooden sword.
You trained with Goku as an equal.
Gohan turned back.
With me, every order is about staying alive.
Because I'm responsible for you.
Trunks pushed himself upright.
That's the problem.
He pointed toward the chamber door. Goku, Piccolo, and Vegeta had entered Gohan's life within days. Trunks had spent years as Gohan's student and feared becoming the child left outside every important fight. Gohan placed the wooden sword on the floor between them. He admitted that Goku's arrival had given him a partner he did not need to shield constantly. Piccolo's return restored his first teacher. Vegeta gave Trunks a father with Saiyan knowledge Gohan could never provide. Each return threatened to rearrange the only family structure Gohan understood.
If you stop needing me, I don't know what I'm supposed to be to you.
Trunks sat across from him on the white floor. The chamber erased every city, grave, and responsibility from view.
You're my brother.
The word replaced teacher without erasing it. Trunks explained that surpassing Gohan would never remove the years of food shared in shelters, wounds treated beneath collapsing buildings, or mornings spent learning to transform without losing control. Gohan's protection had shaped his childhood. Trunks wanted a place beside him as an adult. Their training changed after that conversation. Gohan stopped assigning drills from a distance and joined every exercise under the same conditions. Trunks gained authority to call a reset when Gohan slipped into sacrificial tactics. Both trained to move a protected target across the chamber without using their bodies as stationary shields. A successful run required the target, Gohan and Trunks, to reach the boundary while retaining enough strength to fight again. Trunks practiced disengagement until retreat stopped resembling defeat. Gohan attacked during every withdrawal, forcing him to protect his back through movement rather than turning toward the fight. The sword controlled distance and blocked approach lanes. Ki blasts collapsed simulated corridors without trapping civilians. Trunks learned to leave a wounded opponent behind when the mission demanded extraction. Each completed retreat ended with Gohan checking whether Trunks could still transform. Close-range controller drills followed. Gohan carried a wooden device against his belt, while Trunks attempted to remain within arm's reach for several uninterrupted seconds. Direct pursuit failed. Gohan could break contact before synchronization completed. Trunks began hiding the approach behind sword movements, using the blade to guide Gohan's guard away from the device. The weapon became a visual distraction and distance control tool. Its edge would never be expected to kill an android. Trunks eventually forced greater power into his Super Saiyan body. His muscles expanded across his shoulders, arms, and legs. Energy shook the plane while physical strength climbed beyond his controlled form. He attacked Gohan with enough force to split the floor. Gohan avoided the blow, crossed behind him, and struck the exposed back before Trunks could turn. Each larger movement created another opening. The form carried strength without the speed required to deliver Bulma's controller. Gohan repeated the lesson across an entire training day. Trunks failed to touch him once while carrying the enlarged transformation. His sword became slower, his footwork grew louder, and every direction change strained the chamber floor. Trunks released the form before exhaustion forced it from him. Golden hair returned to its efficient shape.
Vegeta would hate this.
He can hate it after you survive.
Trunks abandoned the bulky transformation. Outside the chamber, Piccolo studied the Lookout's condition with Kami. Earth's guardian had returned to a world where few functioning governments remained. The restored Dragon Balls created hope and a new danger. Any survivor who learned of them could demand mass resurrection, revenge, wealth, or control over reconstruction. Kami asked Piccolo whether fusion would provide enough power to end the android threat quickly. Piccolo refused to remove Earth's guardian and deactivate the Dragon Balls again while the planet remained broken. Vegeta heard the decision and called it weakness. Piccolo turned from the palace edge.
I'm planning for the day after we win.
Vegeta looked toward the chamber holding Trunks. The statement carried a future he had not considered during his first life. His plans had always ended at victory, conquest, or death. Piccolo assigned him basic mission simulations on the open tiles. Vegeta rejected the invitation and began training alone. Krillin adapted more quickly to the changed world. He reviewed evacuation maps, learned the new communication codes, and practiced solar flare against visual sensors Bulma built from android movement records. Since 17 and 18 produced no detectable energy, Krillin trained to follow displaced dust and structural vibration. He accepted that his power remained far below theirs. The controller system gave his precision a role raw strength could never fill. Goku left the lookout to find Chi-Chi. Mr. Popo had given him, now faded by a full chamber year. From above Mount Paozu, he searched for weak human signatures spread across farms and wooded valleys. One familiar life remained among dozens near an irrigation field. He descended several miles away and walked the rest of the distance to prevent his arrival from producing a visible energy trail. Chi-Chi stood knee-deep in a field, repairing a damaged water channel. Gray crossed her hair, and years of outdoor labor had darkened her hands. A farming blade rested within reach on the bank. Goku stopped beyond the irrigation ditch. She looked up at that deeply familiar stance, then at the face belonging to the husband she had buried 16 years earlier. Her fingers closed around the tool handle.
Stay where you are!
Goku obeyed. Chi-Chi had survived android deceptions, false distress calls, and machines wearing human shapes. His face provided no proof. She demanded memories from their life beyond public records. Goku described the first meal she cooked after their wedding, the argument over Gohan's name, and the hole he accidentally punched through their bedroom wall while sleeping after training. Chi-Chi lowered the farming blade after the final detail. Her hand stayed on the handle. Goku explained the source branch, Bulma's probe, and the return path that had been destroyed. Chi-Chi listened from the opposite side of the irrigation channel. This Goku remembered leaving a younger wife and a 4-year-old son before traveling to Namek. The husband from her timeline had returned, lived beside her, watched Gohan grow for several more years, and died from heart disease.
You're Goku!
She set the tool on the bank.
But you aren't the man I buried.
Goku crossed the ditch only after she nodded. Chi-Chi brought him into a farmhouse shared by several families. She placed rice, vegetables, and preserved fish before him. Goku ate more slowly than she remembered. He spoke about the source Chi-Chi and young Gohan who might be facing Frieza without him. She spoke about the son who survived 13 years of war and stayed away to protect her. Neither used the other family as a replacement for what had been lost. Chi-Chi allowed Goku to stay through the evening. She never asked him to call the farmhouse home. He never addressed her with the casual certainty reserved for the wife he had left in age 764. When he described future Earth as another world, her chopsticks stopped above her bowl.
Don't call it someone else's world in front of Gohan.
Goku set his bowl down. The correction remained between them until he nodded. His son had lived every year of this Earth. Helping Goku return meant losing his presence again. Chi-Chi understood that before he admitted it. She still told him to go back if Bulma rebuilt the route. Another Chi-Chi and another Gohan had already been deprived of him by the temporal accident. Keeping him through grief would extend that loss. She requested one promise. Goku would visit future Gohan's life fully before leaving, without treating the future as a temporary battlefield. Goku agreed, then looked toward the darkened cities beyond the fields. Earth's Dragon Balls had returned with Piccolo.
When this is over, you're not going to be alone out here.
Chi-Chi searched his face for the meaning behind the words. Goku did not explain.
Don't make promises about the dead.
I'm not. I'm making one about the living.
Goku remained long enough to repair the damaged water gate and carry grain into the community storehouse. At dawn, he stood near the edge of the fields. Chi-Chi stayed beside the irrigation channel with both hands folded inside her sleeves.
I'll come back before I leave.
Bring my son.
Goku paused at the edge of the field.
Both of them.
Chi-Chi did not answer. She watched him disappear into the forest and let the second meaning settle without deciding whether to believe it. On the lookout, Bulma completed 2 compact controllers from Gero's separate identity codes. Each device fit beneath clothing and required several seconds within close range. Activation would expose the shutdown frequency. Every later attempt would face an android prepared to disrupt it. Bulma labeled one unit 18 and placed it inside a reinforced case. The second carried 17's code. Controller 18 was assigned to Trunks. His sword drills and chamber mission focused on approaching Android 18 without revealing the device. Controller 17 went to Krillin as a concealed backup. Goku could survive closer to 17, yet the android had already learned to target his hands and watch his teleportation posture. Krillin's lower energy made him less likely to be identified as the central threat. Piccolo would coordinate the delivery window. Vegeta objected when his name appeared on neither controller assignment.
You don't accept containment.
I accept victory.
Those aren't the same mission.
Vegeta's fingers pressed dents into the stone railing. Bulma locked the controllers inside separate shielded boxes. She refused to place either device in the hands of a fighter who might use synchronization range to execute the target instead. Inside the chamber, Gohan and Trunks completed their final months through continuous mission simulations. Trunks maintained calm Super Saiyan during meals, sleep, sword maintenance, and long-distance movement. His aura settled close to his body. Gohan could no longer provoke reckless attacks by mentioning Vegeta, Goku, or replacement. Trunks answered through positioning and completed the objective before addressing the insult. Their final exercise placed a disabled enemy at Gohan's feet. Gohan raised a simulated killing blast. Trunks had to stop him without attacking from behind. He stepped between Gohan and the target, held both hands open, and ordered him to release the energy. Gohan maintained the blast until heat scorched Trunks' jacket. Trunks never moved. The energy vanished from Gohan's palm. Afterward, Gohan gave Trunks authority that extended beyond training.
If they're deactivated and I try to kill them, stop me.
Trunks rested one hand on the sword hilt.
Then you stop me if I keep chasing the controller mission after an abort.
Gohan offered his right forearm. Trunks gripped it. Their agreement required each to restrain the other when grief or pride overruled the mission. The chamber year ended. Gohan and Trunks stood before the door in calm Super Saiyan states. Trunks had not surpassed Gohan. His power had risen enough to survive direct contact with an android and remain close for the controller's synchronization window. Gohan's greatest change appeared in the orders he gave. Every command now followed a rule he would accept for himself. They opened the door together. One outside day had passed. Goku, Bulma, Piccolo, Vegeta, Krillin, Kami, and Mr. Popo waited on the lookout. Gohan and Trunks emerged without violent auras or damaged footing. Bulma crossed directly to her son and pressed a scanner against his chest. Piccolo inspected Gohan's stance. Goku read their coordination through the distance they kept between them. They no longer arranged themselves as permanent protector and protected child. Vegeta approached Trunks after everyone else. He examined the calm transformation and the sword positioned for quick access.
You're still weaker than Gohan.
Trunks powered down.
I'm strong enough for my mission.
Vegeta's mouth shifted before returning to its usual line. He criticized Trunks' shoulders, stance, and sword angle. The corrections contained details he could have seen only by watching carefully. Trunks accepted them without mistaking criticism for affection. Bulma presented Controller 18. Trunks secured it beneath his clothing, where the sword sheath concealed the device's outline. Krillin received Controller 17 inside a false Senzu pouch attached to his belt. Gohan reviewed the mutual restraint agreement in front of the command group. Vegeta remained outside prisoner decisions. Piccolo reinforced Gohan's authority to abort. The operation had acquired enough power to challenge the androids, and enough conflicting history to break apart during victory. Goku brought Gohan to Mount Paozu after the chamber recovery period. Chi-Chi waited outside the farmhouse with work gloves tucked into her belt. Gohan landed several steps away and returned to base form before approaching. Years of deliberate distance ended without a battle or emergency signal. Chi-Chi crossed the remaining ground and struck his chest with both palms. One hand stayed against the patched gi, while the other gripped the cloth near his missing shoulder.
I stayed away so they couldn't follow me.
You decided that for me.
Gohan looked toward the fields and the families working beyond them. His protection had removed Chi-Chi's ability to choose the danger attached to seeing her own son. The same habit had governed his treatment of Trunks. Chi-Chi pulled him against her before another explanation formed. Goku remained near the tree line until she turned and called him toward the house. The three shared a meal inside the farmhouse. Gohan sat between the father returned from another timeline and the mother who had lived through his entire war. Chi-Chi listened while he described the chamber, the containment plan, and Trunks' controller role. She asked direct questions about civilian evacuation and refused assurances without details. Goku answered where he could. Gohan answered the rest as field commander. For one evening, his parents heard the adult he had become. The warning arrived through Piccolo's telepathic contact before the meal ended. Krillin had mapped a new pattern in the android attacks. 17 and 18 had destroyed old world tournament grounds, former Red Ribbon battle sites, and locations connected to Goku's childhood. Android 18 still possessed data extracted from the Age 764 probe. Each target moved closer to the mountain region where Goku had grown up. Goku, Gohan, and Chi-Chi returned to the lookout. Bulma projected the attack pattern across a continental map. The final line crossed several rural communities before ending at Mount Paozu. 18 had turned personal history into a search grid. Goku's arrival gave the androids a reason to investigate every place connected to him. Chi-Chi studied the evacuation routes without requesting special protection for her settlement. Piccolo assigned immediate reconnaissance. Krillin prepared signal relays. Trunks checked Controller 18 and secured his sword. Vegeta demanded a place in the operation, while Gohan reviewed the abort structure. Bulma calculated how long the farming communities needed to scatter. The androids were already moving between the final marked locations. Their next route placed them within hours of the Sun family home. Goku stood before the map. Piccolo, Vegeta, Krillin, Gohan, Trunks, Bulma, and Chi-Chi surrounded the same table. 3 resurrected fighters had expanded the resistance. 2 controller devices created a possible end to the war. A year inside the chamber had transformed Gohan and Trunks into partners. None of those gains could prevent the approaching battle from entering the place where Goku's life on Earth began. The resistance is finally armed and ready. With Bulma's custom shutdown controllers in the hands of Trunks and Krillin, the plan to permanently contain the ruthless androids is set. But with Vegeta's volatile pride threatening to shatter the operation from within, can Gohan keep his team united when the battle begins? The killers are closing in on Goku's childhood home, leaving the Sun family with nowhere left to run. Will the new strength of the Z-Fighters be enough to execute the mission, or will the androids turn Mount Paozu into a graveyard? The ultimate battle for survival erupts on the next thrilling episode of this Dragon Ball What If.